All right, we're going to be sitting talking basketball here to start the new year, and we are looking at the Bucks and Celtics from Christmas Day. I actually watched this game as there were maybe 6 games on Christmas, watching them all here with the highlights here. So you'll see that this video at the bottom is only 9.5 minutes long, or 9 minutes, 45 seconds. So that actually puts a block on me. I have not watched it. I've watched this game, watched it in its entirety. But have not watched any of these clips. I don't know the order. I know that the order of the clips goes in the order of the game and things of that nature, but I don't really know what happened. But I like the 9-minute 45 because I have a tendency to show clips over and over and over again and talk about, some of this at length. But as I enter the new year, and I talk to a number of people and I listen to all these podcasts, and I start thinking about my passions and interests and things I love to talk about and things I talk about too much and things of that nature. Basketball is at the top of the list. I love talking basketball, watching basketball, taking notes on basketball, sending notes to people and all that. So my hope is that this might be something that I look to do more. And it's, things that I would show my children, things I would show this group here in the St. Louis area that I work with. We have, 30, 40 some odd kids that we work with weekly, that there's things to learn here. Well, the one thing in all my years of coaching, I coached in Michigan for a short amount of time, or for a long amount of time, 10 plus years. And we got connected with the Pistons. And when I was lucky. We were very lucky. We were close in proximity to where the Pistons worked out, where they played, practiced, and all that. But we were also very fortunate that we were invited to attend any practice we wanted to, things of that nature. So as I watched these practices, and this is when Flip Saunders was there and Larry Brown was there, and some of these Alvin Gentry was there, and these coaches, what I learned about the NBA game is the things they're teaching were the same things we were teaching in college, at a small college. They were the same things that I saw high school coaches coaching 14, 15, 16-year-olds. They were the same things. Now, strategy, terminology, intensity, skill, size, strength, speed, quickness, all that's different, right? The ability to make shots is significantly different, but the strategy of a shell drill and angles and positioning and teaching points and playing to certain areas of it, it was all the same. It was the same things we were trying to coach. So what we're going to show here is I'm just going to show this game. We'll talk about some of it. Hopefully you can see my cursor here, and we'll just talk basketball. The whole idea of this, podcast or YouTube channel or whatever it is it gives me an outlet to talk about basketball so I don't go crazy every day, right? And hopefully you might watch this and get something from it. And maybe you're a player and you watch this and say, hey, that makes sense, or I could get better at that, or that makes sense. There's this thing in coaching of hear, see, do. You got to hear it, you got to see it, you got to do it. So maybe this would be the hear and see part. Like, man, I hear that. I hear coaches saying that. My coach says that. Now I see pros doing it, right? And all this sort of stuff. So, and I would also say this, that there's a lot of different ways to play this game. Many, many different ways to play this game. And my belief is this, that the NBA game, there's a purpose for everything. I believe there to be a purpose, as you see this right now on a jump ball. There's a purpose for all this. They've gone over where these people are supposed to, where they are supposed to line up and things of that nature. And all this, muting all this right here so we don't hear it. But there's a purpose to everything in this game. And so as this game gets going here, let's kind of lock in. And again, some of these are going to be quick highlights where we're not going to see too much to it. Like right here, I watched this first clip. What I like about this first play, and all Middleton's going to do here is catch and shoot, and he's going to make a 3, and it's going to be tied up 3-3, right? So there's not much action here, but this would be my takeaway for players and coaches, and something I believe and I'm trying to get to do with our athletes that we work with. Drew Holiday changes the ball to Middleton right here. Boogie Cousins is just setting some sort of screen. I am wrapped up and fascinated by how the NBA defends screens. And because I believe this, and I could be wrong with this. I'm not in these locker rooms. I'm not looking at scouting reports. I'm not looking at what they said during timeouts or pregame and what the message was, right? But I do know this, so I can I believe there to be a purpose in everything that goes on in this game at the highest level. And so here's what I see automatically. This is what I see. I see some sort of pin down here, probably, right? We don't have the luxury of seeing it in its entirety, but I see this, but I see Smart going under the screen. I see a kind of a flare pin down, whatever you want to say here. And I see Tatum trailing on what is probably Grayson Allen. So there's a trail here. There's an under here. And because of the under, this is the stuff we're trying to teach young athletes. Young athletes playing this game, it's not so much of just coming off screens, but it's the recognition of how you're being played. So this one play right here, and we paused it right when it started, and we are 5 seconds in, is somebody going under a pin down. And if I'm ever critical of, keep this in mind, this is what I believe about, these are the greatest athletes in the world playing this game at the highest level. So any critique, criticism, or conversation about improvement is just, it's just some guy that has an opinion, right? But this isn't a great low, wide, strong screen. It's not what we would really want to teach all of our players. We would want them to get lower, wider, stronger, wide base, all that, be able to have vision, do a slip, things of that nature. You know, this is a much better, wider screen. The angle for Tatum to chase Grayson is more significant, et cetera. But keep in mind, I believe these to be the greatest athletes. And I really love the addition the Bucks have made with Boogie Cousins here, but he goes under the screen. And because of that, he is able, one, it's a one-step closeout. Here is the difference between high school and college and the pros, right? One-step closeout, mistake. It's a mistake. He knows it's a mistake. He didn't have great balance defending the screen. Either he didn't want to be on his body, whatever the reason and purpose going under the screen. Middleton's a dead three. He's a great three, right? It's a long pass, goes from essentially slot to slot. It's a one-step closeout. He gets his hand up. We're chasing here. Here's Giannis, right? There's your player, right? Screening on the first possession of the game, probably, right? But I love Middleton is set, right? And he's automatically, that's the difference between college, high school, and pro. This is a bad shot probably in high school, right? It's contested, you know, it's a one-step closeout to the ball. Not a great screen. Plays it loose. Chasing the dead three here. Has to body up the great the MVP. Right. There's all sorts of things going on that the Celtics have to worry about. But their second best player, or player 1B, you know, knocks down a three. And what a great deal by Smart on the closeout. It's a one-step closeout. And look at the contest. So listen, players, coaches, but players, if you're watching this, I don't know the awards and all this sort of stuff, but I don't know. You could tell me Marcus Smart is a first or second team all defensive player. I don't know, but I know the sucker is really, really good in terms of defending, competitiveness, intensity, urgency, you know, effort and all that. But he got beat. That's the mistake. One step closeout, balls up. You better get a body here. Tatum's rolling in, knowing that Grayson Allen's probably not rebounding, and they're back, right? So there's that shot. Look at this. Weak side of the floor, which I'm big on, and the groups I work with know, but there's the weak side. Like Jaylen Brown knows he better get a body right there. But again, this is a 9-minute highlight tape. I would expect most highlights to be either really great defensive plays or made on the offensive end. Okay. So again, I don't know everything that's going on other than that first play, but it looks like now it's 3-3 now. And so that's the highlight there. So now it goes here, and we just got to watch how the NBA game is played and what we're trying to do. Like this, I saw this play earlier as well. So we have to really start thinking about what we want to do defensively here and how we want to spread the floor offensively. This is what I would tell everybody that we work with. It's one of the priorities with the groups that we work with, a priority for us. And we spent so much time working with youth, meaning even we started when the groups we work with, we started when they were third graders, second graders in some instances. And one of the first things we did was we put hula hoops on the floor beyond the 3-point line, with the idea being too far, too wide, too spaced. Play to the NBA line. Play to the NBA 3 line. Do not play to the high school 3-point line, but play wider. So you can even see here, Tatum, Brown, I'm not quite certain who this is, right? But everybody's wide and Smart is here. Everybody's wide and beyond the 3-point line. And so hopefully if you're a dead three or Steph Curry and you're hitting 40+%, this play by Drew Holiday and Giannis ends up being out here. That you're played man-to-man, one man removed. Right now there are 1, 2, 3, like 3 men removed, 2 men removed, 2 men removed. Now, they're on the other side of the floor here. So Middleton sees the guy trying to get positioning. It's Grayson Allen, it looks like, guarding a post. So it looks like there was a switch out. Somewhere here, there was a switch out between Grayson probably guarding Smart and Boogie Cousins guarding the big. So because of the mismatch, it looks like Middleton's like, I'm on the weak side of the floor. I better come over and squeeze that post. Okay. So that, again, I'm not in the locker room. I don't know scouting report for how to guard Marcus Smart. Right. But I do know this, that we can't I wouldn't think, like, this is what I would tell our kids. Our kids, we would be saying, we're not letting the middle drive happen. If the middle drive happens, we better be head up, nose on shoulder, playing the nail, playing the elbow, playing the nail, right? So that we are playing the midline even, right? So could Giannis be here, right? But maybe scouting report says we're not going to leave Tatum and Brown open. Right. So we're going to two men remove off of these guys. We're going to let Marcus Smart try to beat us off the dribble, even on the switch. And we're going to leave and maybe, hey, we're even going to let him drive middle. Like, I don't know. But traditional 80% of the time, teams would be saying no middle, early help, recovery. These better be dead threes. We're not going to leave a dead three. We're going to let, Tatum's probably a 40% three. I have no idea. 35 to 40. I know it's better, right? But here's the drive, right? So he gets to the heart of the defense, right? Holiday has no vision here, right? We've left open a three here. And again, I don't know exactly who this is. Boogie got beat off the middle, and you can tell it really wasn't exactly what he wanted because of how right here, as it shifts right here, there's the right. You can see right here his foot positioning. Like, Smart's got every option in the world right now, right? And you can tell right here, he's actually off balance and he's having to open up right there. So now he's just clearly open, right? I remember a play in the NBA Finals last year where this similar thing happened on this side of the floor, on this floor in Game 6 of the NBA Finals that the Bucks won last year against the Suns. And instead of opening up the gates and allowing the middle drive, Drew Holiday went up the line and went body to body with Chris Paul with the Suns and cut him off and created a steal. But you can see here, he drops his foot and allows that drive to go all the way in. So now the help is there with Grayson, right? And here's the big. They are swarming three right here. I love how he's getting his hands up to shoot, hand target, like we teach that. And now they're just throwing it to the big. Maybe he knows this because, I don't know. Big, small. Here's a big who's out here who got beat off the dribble and is in no position to contest, no position to help, and not in a position to help to the lob, right? And they just throw it up to the big, right? So that's the luxury of the NBA we don't have in high school and college, is the big that can just go get it at the rim. We can't. This game, the game of the NBA, is played above the rim here. But I like how he wanted to shoot it. That Drew was not leaving Tatum. Giannis did leave Jaylen Brown. So if he were spotted up more here, there's an open three, right? And the game is played there. Don't know how this is finished, but there it is. So they threw it up because of the switch and because of the middle drive and because of the open gate is what we call it by Cousins. So all those things contributed significantly to the lob dunk, and maybe Middleton not going to the body here, right? He's there. But because Grayson had to step up, I would argue that too bad his hands are down. Too bad we're not going to the body. Too bad Cousins couldn't body him up on the catch. Giannis is in no position because he's on the weak side of the floor, so there's no fault there. But, man, like, that's the play because of poor one-on-one defense, poor help with high hands and contact, and poor help to push him off his line and his spot, right? So, again, there's mistakes everywhere. And that's the job of these offensive players, is to create those mistakes and then to take advantage of those mistakes. So we're here. Now, I don't know matchups with what they want. I don't know if this is the matchup the Celtics want, that they want Tatum on Holiday. But here comes a ball screen. We have 3 on the weak side of the floor. So 1, 2, 3, dead 3, Middleton's a dead 3. So those are our dead 3s, I would think. Giannis is clearly shooting better, but he is not our dead 3, right? Here's an open gate again, right? So I remember this play as well. Here's the open gate. Here is a stunt to slow the dribble, which he does, but he recovers much too soon right there. It's still an open gate. The ball is still not controlled. We stunted on a 2-step stunt, but we're still not there. And look at, I know exactly what happens. He's going to get a dunk or a layup. Giannis is. But here's what's great about this game of basketball and your personnel as you get better. Dead 3. He's a dead 3. Regardless of what you think about Grayson Allen, sucker can shoot the ball. So he's got this, and he's in a rough spot. He's in a rough spot because he did not stunt long enough to allow Tatum to control the dribble. Tatum does not have this ball controlled. He's stunted, and now he's on a recovery to Cousins, who is a good 3, but I wouldn't say a dead 3. And a dead 3 to me is like that 45%, 40+%, 70% warming up, right? And I don't believe that that's him. You could text me, email me, and say, hey, Cousins is a dead 3. I know he is. And I would have to believe that Middleton is as well. Dead 3. So he's in a rough spot because the ball wasn't controlled. But here's what happens. Jaylen Brown gets beat. And this type of stuff really fascinates me, and why I love this game so much is he's guarding the best player on the planet. Like 2-time MVP, finals MVP, 50 points in game 6 of the finals, all this sort of stuff, is 3rd in the league in scoring, or in the top 5 in scoring right now. And everybody knows that he's going to get his, and he's going to be on a dead sprint to the hole, or the nail, not the nail, but really the hole area. But right here, ball wasn't controlled. The ball is a spotlight. The ball attracts attention, and it is you can see it right now. His vision is locked in on the ball and has no regard for the best player on the planet, right? No regard. Smart is actually lost vision here. He is concerned because his vision's actually up the line, but he's probably really concerned about Grayson, right? So here's what happens. So he gets beat. Tatum gets beat off the dribble to the baseline side. The stunt came from the ball side as well, which is interesting to me, right? Which is something like I'll put in my notes, right? So here's how do you stunt ball side? You play it loose on the ball screen. So he's playing it loose. He's playing it removed. However you want to say that. I don't know the NBA term, but he's definitely playing it loose is what I would say. So there's your stunt ball side. They're not stunting weak side. They're not showing really weak side, but they are stunting ball side. There it is. Enough to slow him up on a hesitation. Not enough to control the dribble. Boom. It's beat. I would say this if this were my team. Man, we've got a dead 3. We got the best player on the planet, and we got a guy that could probably lay it up with his right hand and get 2. So it's a breakdown. It's a break. And again, I don't know scouting report with these teams, and I don't know capabilities within each player. But if I didn't know any better, I would say, man, it's too bad this guy didn't stunt and allow Tatum to recover, because now it's an emergency. It's too bad that Jaylen Brown didn't keep vision with the best player that the Bucks have, because there he is. He's got to play the dead 3, right? He's got to. So now we get the best player that they have at the mouth of the rim, who's coming from the weak side of the floor. Look, I really like Jaylen Brown love him as a player. I love the idea that he's pointing, and he's probably talking, right? He's probably telling this guy, I don't know his name, but like, hey, get the ball, stunt to the ball, stunt. Let this go here. I'm not leaving Giannis, but he points, but he's so locked in. And what's great about the best player on the floor is he never stops moving, right? He's on the weak side. He sees everybody's vision. Everybody is looking at Drew Holiday and the ball with no regard to the weak side cutter, the weak side circle cut, the strong side circle cut, the weak side drift, and a guy on a diagonal. That's exactly what we would look for on the baseline drive. Drift, cutter, diagonal, circle. That's what we look for. And it's everywhere, right? There's my weak side cut. He's locked in. The circle cut Boogie could be here. Middleton's on the diagonal, which is going to be a tough pass. He has the angle. This guy was the breakdown, my belief. But you could make an argument here. Get the ball out of his hands. Zone up the middle, right? If they were zoning the middle of the floor, which I don't know everything about the NBA in terms of defensive 3 seconds and all that garbage, right? But I do know that if this were high school, I'd be sitting here saying, flood the paint. 1, 2, 3. We should be in a 3-person eye right here. He should be ball side right here outside the paint, looking for circle cut, and we should have 3 guys in an eye. So that way it's a 3-man zone at this point. It should be a 3-man zone. Midline, nail, midline. And that would take away the cut, and we would force Drew Holiday right here to throw the baseline or the diagonal, right? Because we're outside the paint here, we get that. Now, Tatum does a good job just getting it there, but also there's the NBA, right? There's the NBA. Okay, that will take, the plays that we know about. Here's the NBA, ball screen is what we know what everybody's doing, right? They're ball screening and not necessarily attacking off ball screen all the time, although they are most time. But we know that a lot of what the ball screen is in the NBA is simply to get the matchup you want. Like, Jalen, go screen because we want to switch out with Marcus Smart, or we want Giannis to be guarding Jaylen Brown, or we want Middleton to be guarding Smart, whatever it is in the pregame and the scouting report of how you can get the matchup that you want, right? Grayson Allen's outside the paint. Ball side is declared. If this were high school or college, I'd be saying, hey, ball side's declared with the angle that he's coming off ball screen. Start stunning to the midline. Start stunning to the midline. The ball is a magnet. Start funneling to the ball. Start flooding the paint. Because if this were a big, it's not, right? Their big is this guy. If it were a big, they early roll it or they roll it here, then, let's say this guy were out here, right? If he were out here, Boogie would be out here, possibly, right? Unless he's a garbage 3, right? And not a dead 3. We would want the ball in his hand at 3. But if he's out here and Boogie's out here, then who has this role? Who has this role? So you got to be stunting to the ball once ball side is declared, which it is here. Now, this is the NBA. These are the greatest players in the world. And the greatest players. One dribble off ball screen, fights over the top of it, stunts to it to either switch. Let's say they do switch. I don't know how this play turns out. Let's say they do switch. If they do switch, good on Giannis. Because here's an old phrase that Majerus used to say: talk, touch, switch, deny. Talk the switch, touch the switch it, and then deny it, body it, be aggressive with it. So here's the switch. If this is Steph Curry, this is a mistake. It's Marcus Smart, so probably not a huge mistake, although I know he can shoot it. Here's the touch and the switch and the talk. Giannis is not going to let Jaylen Brown pop, and he's not going to let him roll, and everybody's stunting over. The critique I would have here is this defensively. I wonder if this is too much space, and I don't know how this turns out. Drew has lost all vision with whom I believe to be the Celtics' best player. So Tatum's was out here just tripping around. All of a sudden, he's on a hard back cut. Drew Holiday has no vision with Tatum anymore. So but you can see that Grayson Allen sees it. He's like, man, I see this vision perfect right here. Boogie's taking this guy low, or this guy's probably taking himself low. So there's a lot going on here, and I have no idea how this ends up. Could be a 3. If it's a roll, Grayson's going to pick it up. Tatum could be diving to a post-up game. He could be shooting a 3. I don't believe this guy's going to these are the phrases we use with our kids: reverse pin and spin, take them lower, and there's going to be some great post feed from high to low here. And I don't know if there's going to be a diagonal skip because I don't believe this to be open. But maybe the play's this. Maybe the play's pick and pop right here with Jaylen Brown, because maybe he's not a roll guy. I believe him to be a pick and pop guy. Maybe they are rolling down here and that takes this cut away, and maybe they post Tatum. No idea, right? So here's the play. There's the pick and pop. Drew Holiday has put them in a bad spot because he's lost vision with their best player. Grayson's got to play two. Grayson's got to play two. So what does Tatum do? Is he going to post? There's the pop. Still no vision with Tatum. Grayson's playing two. This guy could be spaced. If he's spaced, then man, Grayson's got to make a decision if he's spaced. We post Tatum, we go high to low, we hit a dead three, hopefully in the corner. I don't know if he is or not. And Grayson Allen gets argued with because look at this. Nobody has a regard for Tatum. Now, this is what I think is probably going to happen. Drew Holiday is going to say, screw it, I'm taking ball. Giannis is going to say, I've got the slip, right? And they should all be locked up. That's exactly what happened. So Drew Holiday, maybe that's by design. Maybe they say, hey, they're going to pick and pop with when it's small on small, they're going to pick and pop, and we're just going to leave the ball, any cutter, that would be our switch out. Maybe that's how they play it, right? But right now we're playing the paint. We're talking. We're playing the nail. It looks like he caught it on the pop. He was on a one-step closeout. We don't have it. And it looks like he's about to take him off the left on a hop back. So Drew stunted up. And now there's our hop back and creating space. Man. So I don't know if these are breakdowns. I don't know if that's how you would play it, right? But we know that a great three, if not a dead three, got an open three on the pick and pop. And the defensive coverage, in my mind, didn't seem to be like on point. It just didn't seem it. But, somebody could say, hey, that's exactly how they drew it up. Now, this is us working with younger players and high school players and even the college level. When we sit here and say, we call this the 45, a 45-degree angle, that spot on the floor, we call a 45. Corners, wings, 45, slot, point, top, whatever, right? But here it is. That ball right there, if he's shooting 40%, then we know he's missing 6. And my thinking is, of the 6, I think 4 are coming off this side. Or that's what we tell our players. We're like, 2 are going to be in here, 4 are going to be here. Now, this is a highlight reel, so I'm sure he makes it. But let's see. Boogie looks like nobody looks like. Fly the ball, kind of checking it out. Fly the ball, fly the ball, fly the ball, right? Getting back. And this is the NBA. This is what we all see in the NBA. This isn't Michigan State cutouts, checkouts, football pads, go knock somebody on their tail type basketball, right? This is, we're going to watch the ball, and if we get it, we get it, right? So interesting coverage on pick and pop with Jaylen Brown. And now we're bringing the ball up the floor. I love a ball screen in transition. I'm not a huge fan of, I get it. I see it in the NBA. I've got to explore it more myself. This idea of bringing ball up sideline, hugging sideline with the ball, right? My thinking is this. Now, you can say these are all set plays, and that was, again, these are highlight reels, so I don't know when and where this stuff stops. But that is the we don't see much of it here, right? There's the 3. Here's the play, and here's just the discussion because it changes. Bringing the ball up sideline, running shooters to corners, ball screen from your point in transition for your 2 or your dead 3, right? And we don't have the luxury here of seeing how it plays out. Here's your 5, probably running weak. Here, and Giannis took it out of bounds. So Giannis would be your trailing big. Here's a point in transition. Here's a big just trailing and going weak, right? And we don't have the luxury of seeing it, right? But I will say this. You saw it briefly. You saw the open gate from the slot to a drive down the line. This is scouting report defense. How to play Marcus Smart when I'm playing Jason Tatum. That's scouting report defense, I believe. Your kids in high school and college need to know who's playing the ball, who has the ball, who am I guarding, and where are they on the floor? That's a lot. But the great teams do it and know it. Who's guarding the ball? Who has the ball? Where are they on the floor? And who am I guarding? And what is their game? What is Tatum capable of? 40% 3? Cool. Is Tatum spotting up here? Is he spotting up behind the ball? How is Tatum moving? How am I going to help to this drive? Okay, so again, I have no idea how this play ends. It looks like Tatum's momentum's going this way. if this were my college team, I'd be saying, hey, stay in line of vision with the ball, even if it's behind somebody. Like maybe Tatum gets the shot here, stay behind, and we get an over the top, right? Then I'd be saying, if I were the Bucks coach, are we helping off Tatum? Are we going to go, does Grayson Allen need help from the slot area? It looks like he does. Marcus Smart's driving the line, owning the line that we tell our kids, and driving hard. The help, can we get the help here with our body? If Boogie helps, are we in a position to V back? We use the phrase V back. Do we V back to the big here? Do we V back to the big here? Who's covering this big if Boogie helps? And I have no idea. Let's see what happens. Okay. So he drives it, and he is pivoting up the away. It's a rough pivot, right? Grayson Allen gets it, vision here. I'd like to see him squeeze the post here. I don't know who this is. That's Jaylen Brown, who's already hit a three we saw earlier. Can we play here? Because Middleton's in no man's land, and I'm willing to bet that they get the kick out. Nope, they get the steal. Okay, so again, I'm not reviewing these games before I make these videos. So I like this. I like the screen and transition. Again, we don't have the luxury. I love running shooters to corners. I love Middleton bringing the ball up. So we know what happens here, right? Here's my corrections that I would make. I think Tatum should stay in line of vision. And again, these are NBA coaches. These are NBA players. These are the best in the world. He's probably drilled on this. But right when Marcus Smart gets here, he's got three around him. Man, it'd be nice if Tatum were sitting right here for that kick in vision, because at some point, Middleton had no clue where Tatum was. And that's what we got to lock in on. We've got to lock in right here that he has no vision with Tatum. Zero. He's locked in on the ball, locked in on the ball, locked in on the ball, locked in on the ball. This idea that we teach our athletes from second grade on of see man, see ball is, I get it. We still say it, and you have to drill on it, right? But this idea that we've seen 4 possessions and we see NBA players that have no regard for vision on a man. They see the ball, A+, 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 A+. But in terms of where your man is that you're guarding, if Tatum's here and they throw it over the top, that's a 3 by a great 3, right? A great 3. But here it is. There's the kick out. And because of pressure, because of deflection, because of active hands, because of an unopened layup, because possibly Boogie Cousins is there, or because Middleton gets a hand on it, that we get that turnover, right? My belief is this, and it's not always true, but it's what we tell our kids. A turnover at one end or a missed layup at one end is an open layup at the other end, right? So right now we have a turnover at the 3-quarter court line, the best player on the planet pivoting and about to run and probably getting wide. And I have no idea if they're going to stay with this video, this clip. But let's just assume they are, and they're setting up the fast break. 1, 2, 3 are below. We have a volleyball line on our court and most courts because of volleyball at the college and high school level. Below the volleyball line, and we got 2 guys up, and it's a numbers game because I'm willing to bet that 1, 2, 3, definitely the 2, and their best 2 are about to run. No idea if they get it. Okay, boom. There, so it looks like we might be keeping with it. Okay. One good thing, Jaylen Brown got out and ran. We're still too short. We're going to hit Boogie. I don't think and again, these are the best players on the planet. And the Bucks, you could say, are the best team on the planet, right? It says here they're 21-13, third in the East, but they won the NBA championship last year. So they're I'm not saying they're the best, but they're pretty damn good, right? But slow out of the blocks, not a great transition, especially when you have their biggest guy back covering the ball, which is Tatum, and their smallest guy back guarding 6'10" and a man running to the weak side of the floor. But anyway, we got 3-on-2 right here. 3-on-2. I'm guessing because this is a highlight, they're going to score. I'm guessing, but plays it to drag away. Love it. Love it that he plays to drag him away, and they're staying here. So it's his best option, right? I like that Jaylen Brown looks to be funneling into the paint and not worry too much about Drew. but he does worry about Drew. Okay. I love it that we're running to the paint with the best player on the planet. Right. But I have no idea how this ends. You could say Boogie's going to drive it and make this guy make a decision, and we're just going to roll to the rim and the hole here, and we're just going to throw it up and let Giannis get another dunk. You could say, here's a dead three that's rhythming up, and he's going to get a three here, and that we're not going to reverse the ball because Drew Holiday's locked in by Jaylen Brown. I have no idea, but those are some good options. No idea, right? And Boogie's just going to take it. We're going to have a seal to the basket, and I'm guessing he scores and makes it. Ball side kick, sealing the basket on a post, spaced away, dead three. Two guys have not got back. Two guys. So a turnover at one end is a layup at another end, right? Good on this guy. Good on this guy to take the hit and the contact and probably a foul. He's inside the circle, right? But a layup or a turnover around the rim at one end is typically a layup at the other end. And there it is. And you got an N1. So I love it. Right. And Milwaukee ends up winning this game. But we have a turnover at one end, maybe because of, for whatever reason, maybe they work on these little circle cuts behind the ball and they work on pivoting out of pressure. But there were three, regardless of what happened, it's a turnover. So a turnover at one end, two guys don't get back because they're below the volleyball line. It's a slow fast break in fourth gear instead of fifth gear, but maybe that's the rhythm to it. Maybe the rhythm to it, it's playing to that rhythm of that fast break. They played in fourth gear for a reason, right? But at some point they hit Boogie, and we get a seal by the best player against a small, and now we get an N1, right? So now it's a 3-point play. Good on them, right? And guys didn't get back, and Tatum had the shot, right? So again, his first game back after a long injury, Devin Chino, not sure exactly how to say his name. Open gate, on the ball. Man, the ball wins, right? The ball garners the spotlight. All eyes, right? Everybody's flat. Tatum could be screening here. I'm not sure who's guarding whom here. Right? Tatum could be screening here. Middleton is probably guarding Jaylen Brown. Drew Holiday's probably playing Tatum, and Grayson's in a bad spot here on this kid. But here's the drive to the nail. There's no flare here, which would be great because we got, I don't know what we're going to do here. There's no great angle and there's no great playmaking ability off of this. Again, no idea how this play turns out other than it looks like it could be a turnover. But if he keeps his dribble alive and we get a flare screen, we're going to have an open three here. But he's stunting enough to create everybody to have vision with the ball. And he picks it up, though. I was thinking he might have a relief dribble. But here's what we do. On the pickup, it'd be really good if people go to men. The ball's controlled. Dante should be now closed out, square to the basket. Everybody should be stunting back to their man. But it looks like Middleton loses vision. It would be great if they did a dribble handoff up here and they flattened out here for a three. I have no idea how they're going to play this, but there's the dribble handoff. And Middleton didn't have vision with it, right? Dribble handoff to kind of a ball screen, play to the nail. But this is now Dante's problem. Because we didn't have great vision, unless he shoots this gap, right? They recovered on the pickup to the great shooter, the great player. Drew did a great job. Pick up, smother, recover to the great player, right? This guy's now on the weak side of the floor. And now whose help is this? If now the elite team would just get up this line and just cut him off and make this dribble be a lateral dribble away from the paint, a non-penetrating dribble. But I'm guessing that's not going to happen. It's a highlight clip, right? Dante's got to help it. And now let's see what Smart, if he rolls, man, then that's got to be Drew. He's got to step up. I don't know what happens. I'm curious on this. So it's a hesitation. For those interested in high-end skill development, man, does he get his chest on the knee? Is he showing that ball ready for a great crossover? But if he crosses over, man, he's crossing over into 6, into 5. Does that make sense? Man, I thought he had a better play here with rolls and a stunt with a kick, right? But now he's going to do what? Cross it over, hop back, reload, right? That's exactly the stuff we teach our young athletes, right? So we're going to go back for a second. Watch this. There's that. There's a pickup. Everybody recovers. Look at how they recover with high hands. All of them. Pickup, recovery. It is not a double. It is not a smother by 3 or 4 people. It is like, shit. All right, pick up, recover, recover, recover. Vision on the pickup, right? The small, he's not stunting enough to stop him, but Middleton shot the gap. It's low, it's reload, it's attack. And look, another drop, we use the word drop, between the legs, boom. Get his momentum going back. I'm guessing he hits that. What a great play. I love this. Like, I hope you get as much out of this as I am, because he's closing out now with 2 hands. He lost momentum. It was going backwards. He's recovering. He didn't get his ankles broken, but he is going to contest. You want to show your college players about competitiveness, about wanting to win, about valuing the defensive possession, about contesting shots and making things difficult. Watch Middleton on this play, right? Because he has every reason to complain about this. He's right here. He loses vision with their second or best player. He could quit right here. He could be tighter off this to the nail, but there's the gap. He recovers. He plays all this, the crossover, the reload, the drop between the legs, the hop back, all that. Boom, to 2-hand closeout, 1-hand contest. 2-hand closeout, 1-hand contest. Boom. Love it. These are the small things I love that I would show my kids if I were showing this film. Jalen's hit two great shots, so he's got 5 right now. He probably has more. We haven't shown every clip. He hit a 3 over here earlier. He just hit a great dribble handoff ball screen to a crossover, reload, drive, drop, hop. Right? That's the phrasing that we use. I know that's a lot, but he did a lot, right, in a short amount of time and space. But every time your best player is acknowledging it with a point and probably some talk, right? So 2 times I've seen Jason Tatum acknowledge him for the great shot. 2 times, okay? All right, so let's see where this leads us. It may lead. Okay, so now here's fast break, okay? Typically not the guy that they probably want bringing it. George Hill's in. This is somebody new. I don't know who this is. Grayson Allen might be looking for a handler. We got a guy pointing at the ball. We got guys turning at half court, backpedaling. So you talk about transition basketball defensively, take 2 steps, turn around and find the ball. Turning and finding, turned and found it, pointing at the ball. This is Jabari Parker, I believe, and they're getting their tails kicked, right? They were down big, 50 seconds to go. You're down big, right? Tatum, I don't know what happened here, right? But Tatum's getting back into the action, but they slow it down because I'm not sure that's Grayson Allen's gig, right? He's a catch and shoot, drive the basket kind of guy, not leading breaks and things like that. But let's see what they do here. I'm always curious on the strong side of the floor as the ball's being brought up in the outer channel or the outer third, how they balance the floor. But good on them for slowing the ball. But they also had the non-playmaker probably bringing the ball up the floor, which is fine, right? This is what we tell our kids. We don't want 2 people on the same side of the floor, so somebody's got to run a through cut, THRU, a through cut. So we're going to drag that guy out, taking him with them and spotting this guy up. Tatum's already lost vision, or he's going, hey, crud, where's my guy? Right now, you could say, okay, he put the brakes on. He planted. Man, I don't know what they're doing, all right? But here's what I do know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Outside the paint, lost vision with them. Great cut to set up, because maybe he thought he was running a through cut. But what I like that they're not doing is they're going to get out of the great player's way. Like, he's the best, right? Regardless of what you think about him, he's clearly the best on their team. Like, if he's not the best player on the planet, he's top 5, top 10, right? And now you've got an old guy. I believe that to be Jabari Parker. Like, who doesn't love this matchup if you love the Bucks, right? We've got the ball reversed. It takes him 1 dribble to get to the paint. We got Tatum confused on whom I'm guarding, what he can do, and where he's at. Pritchard, who I love, thought he was going on a back cut, and he's about to correct himself. So, boom, he catches on a hop and loads. Smart's really smart here. He's like, okay, their guy has the ball. Look, he's pointing. He lost vision on the through cut because he's not through cutting. He put the brakes on. He's coming back out. This would be one of those things like pin down, change it, stagger it out, get Hill a 3, or Giannis is taking it I'm guessing George Hill could be an option. And whomever this guy is, we're playing draw and kick basketball with him because you got to play this guy. You've got to play that guy. The great player in the slot, in the elbow with a live ball is problems. So we have the best player with a live ball, meaning it hasn't been dribbled yet, in the slot or the elbow, and about to play downhill with a huge, look at all that action, right? So there it is. Now, love this. That's the kid from Notre Dame, right? So he's spotting up right here. That's the play. Now you put it on the floor. He came on the dribble, and they're all shaped up on these three here. So we're playing 2-on-2 basketball on this side of the floor. And again, it's a highlight. I'm guessing they score, or it's going to be a turnover and a dunk on the other end. Giannis is that good. I have no idea. This could be a turnover. This could be a great three to right there. This is how strong he is. Now what are we thinking? Man, now I think his go-to move going right is a spin move to the left. So if he put it on the floor and he spins, man, you got him and you got a kick. And I don't think there's any action on the weak side of the floor unless you're going to be kicking to Pritchard. But, it's a Euro step. And there. So, again, you end up right there with the best player in the slot and a Euro step or the elbow, 1 pound. He takes 1 pound, regardless of what you think about Euro steps and traveling, it got all the way to the mouth of the rim. So he got all the way on the 1 pound. So good on Grayson to slow it up, right? Good on Smart to say, hey, I disrupted the dribble. He just happens to be that damn good, but I'm already going to start recovering to the, I forget his name right now. I believe his first name's Pat, on the kick out to the great three, right? I mean, dead three. They did this for a reason. This guy hit two or three huge threes in the fourth because they got just dead threes around him because they want to just clear it out because they want Steph Curry out here. And then they're just going to say, hey, let Giannis just play, right? And that's what they did, right? So love all these plays. Now, here we are in transition. They slowed the ball up. Here comes a running pick and roll. We got people pointing. We got a guy trailing. We got guys on the weak side of the floor. I don't believe you can flood the paint in the NBA with like this. I think you can only be, so there's that. It's not a pick, right? So, and that's fine. Probably NBA game plan scouting report strategy, right? Hey, we're like going to false ball screen and immediately roll, immediately pop and try to get him